Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts 3 playthrough extras. So, we have done quite a lot of stuff now. We've done all the mini-games, we've done all of the stuff pretty much available to us in the gummy ship, apart from obviously getting all the secret, well, special weapons and killing 9,999 Heartless ships. But, you know what? It's just a case of murdering more things to get those. So really, we did everything. And we did all the fantastic plans. So the only thing that is left at this moment, really, is to take on the Battlegates. And as part of that, obviously I want to do some wonderful levelling up of Keyblades. I had sort of wanted, I suppose, to get all of the Keyblades up to their highest level, but honestly, you don't need to. And I just couldn't be bothered at that point. So, hey. Also, we still can't quite make the ultimate weapon, but by the time we have made it through at least some of these delightful Battlegates, we will definitely have enough to do that. One of the other things that I'm going to try and do throughout these Battlegates is show off the remaining shock locks that I have yet to use. Because there are a few that just I haven't shown off yet, and I feel that I probably should in some way, shape or form anyway. So we're going to go through from Battlegate 0 all the way up through to Battlegate 14. And we're just going to do them in order, because it makes sense, and it should be fun. Obviously, we have already technically done Battlegate 0, but it was just like, well, there's no harm in going back into it again. Because it just means more enemies to murder, really. And yes, I believe this is one that I didn't do the first time around, King of Hearts, which is basically just, you know, shooting hearts at things, and if you go full pelt, it goes into Ragnarok. Which is awesome, and yeah, honestly, these Battlegates are all pretty fun. They're effectively just, you know, battle rooms. That's all they really do. The only thing that really you get out of them is the secret reports, which is, well, all of them are filled with delightful bits of lore. And really, there's some very interesting tidbits in those secret reports. We will be going over them at a later point. I'm going to have a look at all the footage that I recorded as to whether I actually gave myself enough time to read through all of them in that particular part, or whether it's something that I will need to cover as we progress through these Battlegates. But yes, Battlegate 0, pretty easy, because all you're doing is fighting down shadows, neo shadows, and flutterings. So honestly, you should not have any problems whatsoever taking these guys out. I mean, just bringing in a couple of Thundagas will pretty much just obliterate everything, so it's not terrifying in the slightest. There are some that are definitely more difficult, though I would say the one that is sort of the most difficult is the one which is the secret boss, for obvious reasons. Most of the others do just sit between a sort of medium and low difficulty level. So they are very, very good for grinding, if you want to sort of quickly level up. And I mean, considering there is a trophy for getting Sora to level 99, it's definitely worth your time doing if you want, you know, to get all the trophies and achievements and all that jazz. And you can see my thought process here going, right, I just want to make sure that I've got everything. But yeah, we're just going to sort of have a nice gradual run through all of these. because none of them are to the same level of craziness as, say, the Demon Gate battles in Okami, because those were, you know, like, hour-long battles that just kept going. While there's definitely over an hour's worth of Battlegates to take on, they're all separate encounters, so they're not as challenging as that. I mean, perhaps that is something that they could have theoretically done with the Battlegates, is turn them into more of that gauntlet-style battle. But I don't think that that was necessarily, well, would not have been needed. So, honestly, I think that's absolutely a-okay. Now, pretty sure that
Come on, fellas.
most of the worlds have 2 Battlegates in them. There's only a couple which only have 1. So, Keyblade Graveyard has 2, Olympus has 2, Toy Box has 2, Kingdom of Corona has 2, and San Francisco has 2. But then the Caribbean, Arendelle, and Twilight Town only have 1. Don't know why that's the case. I mean, I suppose 15 Battlegates is a sort of relatively round number, and had they gone with those 3 extra worlds, would have taken them up to 18. And considering I doubt they had enough secret reports to fill out, because obviously there's 13 secret reports. You don't get one for Battlegate 0, and you don't get one for Battlegate 14. But yeah, it's just like one of the things that's going, you probably could have put 2 in each. I would not have hated that. But hey, these things happen. So this Battlegate brings us face to face once again with a lot of these Satyr guys. And I have to say that they are not as terrifying as they were. Well, I mean, despite the fact that, you know, they just obliterated a huge chunk of my health. But they're not as terrifying as they were in their initial encounter, because they don't automatically go into that group charge armour phase, which just sort of made it a little bit terrifying. Also, I love the fact that despite having a whale of a time with this game, I still never used Hero's Origin correctly at all. Like, never used the sort of blocking and sending it back at them manoeuvre that's the whole gimmick of the weapon. But hey, it could have been a bit more ridiculous. I could have done this, i.e. launching this pirate ship in the middle of the air where it can't bloody hit anything. Because that was a smooth move. Now, obviously, the whole idea of the Battlegates pretty much does come from Dream Drop Distance. I mean, they use the same portal design. It's just that these are blue rather than being pink. Which actually makes sense, because most of the portals in the real world, or to the real world, were always sort of blue, whereas all the ones within Dreams were pink. At least, if I'm recalling things correctly. I could completely just be making that up on the spot. But it happens. Also, I love the fact that there's a weapon called Boomhammer. And I love that this Keyblade classic tone just sort of squeaks. It's a ridiculous design, and it's a ridiculous Keyblade, but it's really fun. And also, I mean, just look at these shot locks. I mean, like, come on. That's just awesome. And I will say that actually, this is a really good Keyblade. I mean, both the Grand Chef, and Classic Tone are really good. They're both really quite powerful, and they've both got really fun transformations that are just really exciting to use. I mean, just look at this, it's great! And even obviously we're using the drill again, I think just the fact that we get all this sort of time stuff, the black and white, it just makes me really, really very happy. Although I will say what doesn't necessarily make me happy is the sort of coming realisation that, you know, I've got 4 quite hefty parts worth of this stuff. Like, none of them are at that 50-minute mark that we had throughout the gummy ship. So, you know, we'll be absolutely fine. My brain just does go, oh, yes, this is a thing that I have decided to do. What was I thinking? It's very much like at work the other day. I was just sat there because I'm getting to the point where I'm really looking forward to having my holiday. And because it's like coming up in a couple of weeks' time, which is also why I'm recording commentary a lot earlier than I will be doing normally, getting as far ahead as possible because I won't be around to record it, and I just want to make sure that I've got the videos for that week done and uploaded, so I don't have to worry about it at all. But yes, also that's what that kind of side thing was that didn't turn up. It was the secret report. But yeah, so I was looking at sort of when I'd booked my holidays. I was just like, how long has it been since I actually went on my last holiday? I was just like, oh, I haven't had a week off in 5 months. What is wrong with me? Because yeah, it was just like, I was wondering why I was feeling burnt out and just cannot be bothered with anything and all of that. And it was just like, yeah, that would probably explain it. Especially when within that 5 month time frame, there has been sort of a lot of elections occurring, because I work at a local council. So that is a very sort of busy, very stressful time for everyone involved. More so the people who are actually having to, in the elections team, running the elections than anybody else. But it still does have an impact, especially because I work in communications. You get dragged into a whole lot of stuff. And it's a bit ridiculous, but it happens and you get over it. But yeah, it's just like, I do seem to make these really ridiculous decisions that just make my life so much more difficult than it has any need to be. But I just do it to myself anyway, because I think, yeah, I'll be fine. Let's just roll with this. And then, you know, regret it not long afterwards. But hey, it's all going to be a-okay, as I said. Now, obviously, in line with getting the secret reports, you do also get items for beating the Battlegates. So, for Battlegate 1, you get Fire Cufflink, Battlegate 2, Cosmic Belt Plus, Battlegate 3, Evanescent Crystal, Battlegate 4, Mega Elixir, Battlegate 5, Thunder Cufflink, Battlegate 6, Illusory Crystal, Battlegate 7, Aero Cufflink, Battlegate 8, Illusory Crystal, Battlegate 9, Evanescent Crystal, Battlegate 10, Water Cufflink, Battlegate 11, Yin Yang Cufflink, Battle 12, Blizzard Cufflink, Battle 13, Celestriad, and Battle 14, Crystal Regalia. And actually, it looks like Keyblade Graveyard has 3 Battlegates. Clearly, I was just looking completely in the wrong areas, but yeah, it has 3. And just for clarification, The Celestriad is also the 3 stars item. It's called 3 stars in other iterations of Kingdom Hearts, but it's called Celestriad here. And then the last one, the Crystal Regalia, is a really, really good accessory item. And pretty sure that the fact that it's called Crystal Regalia is in reference to Final Fantasy 15, because I'm pretty sure that the car's called the Regalia. Honestly, that car is awesome and really quite cool. I still can't believe that there's a not a Kingdom Hearts game. Bloody hell. There's a Final Fantasy game where the characters drive around in a car, because, like, you would not have, like, you look back at Final Fantasy games up to this point, and obviously none of them have been in the kind of a more modern time frame. They've all been either in a very typical medieval fantasy style, or they've gone very futuristic in their stylings. So I mean, like, you look at the post-SNES Final Fantasies, 7's kind of futuristic, 8's futuristic, 9 is full-on fantasy, 10 is sort of a mixture of very fantasy and kind of futuristic. 11 is a completely different kettle of fish, but that's kind of very fantasy. 12 is very futuristic and very fantasy. 13 is very futuristic. 14 is very fantasy, and it's only when you get to 15 where it sort of does bring in that more modern style, which I do think was sort of quite a fun shift for the franchise. But I know that I am probably more fond of fantasy stories that exist in either those more typical medieval-y style fantasies or in those more futuristic fantasy settings. And I think that's just because that's what I am more used to. That's what sort of most of the games that I have ever played have been. It's also, I think, how my imagination tends to work, because it's all about escapism, I suppose. So escaping to a brand new world is a lot more exciting to me than going through the process of still being in reality but having fantastical elements within it. He says, as he's in the middle of writing a book which is basically set in reality with some fantastical elements within it. But that's a different thing, because that is me in my writing wanting to, I suppose, explore genre and explore within style a little bit. Because I like the idea of having fun with what I'm doing, not settling into one very specific style or genre. Because as much as I love, like, high fantasy or just fantasy in general, and as much as I love sci-fi, I don't think that I would ever want to, in terms of my writing, ever only write that, because I kind of think then I'm limiting myself to the possibilities of what I could do. And that's not to say that people who have dedicated their lives to specific genre fiction have done wrong. They totally haven't, and some people have their style and they stick with it. But I suppose also part of what I'm doing is I'm trying to find my writing wheelhouse, so to speak. So I'm trying to find where my writing sits most comfortably, because I've got all of these fantastical ideas that I want to look at and explore and delve into, but there's no sort of set genre that necessarily suits it. But there might be a specific genre that suits it. I just haven't sort of settled on that yet. And sort of after I finished sort of my first series, which I have officially, although it's not kind of written anywhere personally, it is the Burning Ash cycle, for reasons that will become very clear as the series goes on, because I've only written the one book so far, and that's the only one that's been published, which obviously you can go on Amazon if you look it up. Just look The Burning Ash, Richard Kish, it should turn up. I'd obviously really appreciate you buying the copy and having a read of it, and let me know what you think of it, because, you know, that is what writers do. They need to plug their books, and also it's also just really nice to see what people think of it. Because, I mean, that particular book I've spent over a decade on, from conception of the story to actually, you know, publishing it, which is a ridiculously long time. The actual writing of the physical thing was probably about 3-4 years in actuality, but that's also factoring in life getting in the way of things, and depression getting in the way of things, because, you know, depression's a bloody cow bag, it's ridiculous. But yeah, so I just want to explore for a bit, and once I've had my exploration, that will hopefully give me more of an idea of what I want to try going forward from that. Because, I mean, I've definitely already got thoughts, though not necessarily any concrete ideas, of returning to the world of my first novel. Because I think that there's a lot of really fun things that I could do there. But equally, I think that sort of some of my other future projects have potential for further exploration. Like one of them, one of them that's definitely going to be in the series is going to be like a full-on sci-fi thing. But at the minute, I am looking at like a sci-fi murder mystery type dealio, which I'm quite excited for. I'm also definitely doing a superhero novel because, I mean, I'm a massive nerd. I'm doing something that is sort of referring to video games. I'm doing something that's referencing theatre. I'm doing something that's referencing literature and film, and obviously superheroes kind of do have to feature in that in some capacity. Also, totally doing a time travel novel because obviously time travel's fun. And I've had that many narratives that I know of that do it in some form. I want my own stab at it. And then I'm also definitely... Well, there's one more novel in my series that is not quite so settled. It's currently sitting in a sort of like fairy tale existence, but that might change. And then something that I can only describe as a concluding episode to the cycle. But that is... I'm quite a ways away from that one. Like that's book 7 of a 7-book series. I've just, you know, done number 1 and I'm working on number 2. We're a bit of a way away from that yet. From that, yeah, I then just want to explore and see exactly what comes out of it all. I mean, obviously I would like for that to be my full-time job, but at the minute, that's not happening. But I can work at it, and I can hope, and I can try, and fingers crossed one day that will be my full-time job. Also, I believe that this is the only place where I think it's the sorcerer. Nobody turns up. Like, complete non sequitur there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the only place that this particular enemy shows up. So if you want to complete that list of adversaries, you are going to have to take this on, and you are definitely going to take on Battlegate 14. I'm not sure which other ones you may or may not have to take down. I think there's... or at least I have the feeling that there's at least one more that we haven't faced down, that we do face down in these, but I honestly cannot remember what enemy it is. Also, this guy can sort of just go to hell because he teleports a lot, and it does just mean that you just end up flying about this arena way too much. To the point where it's just ludicrous. And while you can juggle him to a relatively decent degree, there will come a point where he will just decide, nope, I'm out of here. Or he'll throw in his red attack blocks at you. It's just a little bit tedious, but it's a really good fight for getting, I can't remember what blooming crystals, but it's whatever synthesis materials you get from nobodies. It's quite a good fight for that. I think it's Twilight gems and crystals and all that jazz, so you'll potentially do this fight quite a few times if you're going for 100% on the synthesis. But as I'm not doing that for this particular playthrough, even though I have, you know, gone and actually done that, you guys don't need to see that at all. All you need to see is that with that nobody is dead, and we have beaten 3 of our, well, 4 of our Battlegates. We've only got 11 left to go, I want to say. I did say there's 15, so yeah, 11. Because there's 14 and 0. So, yeah. 11 left to go. So that was relatively painless, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Please say it was relatively painless. Yeah, let's have a look. Gummy phone. Okay, so we're not quite there on adversaries yet. We are making progress on the shot flux front. We're not quite there yet, but we are nearly there. So, it's going well. And I can finally add in another couple of abilities. Not many, but 2 is at least something, eh? And ooh, there's a couple of fun things in there. I might have a look at them. Might not equally, but either way, I think we've done a very good job so far. Let's keep up the pace and take on some more Battlegates. Yay!